Hi, it's Father Bill, and welcome back to the Loft, and welcome back to Messy Church. Sort of had a month off as we were very busy getting the church itself ready to reopen for in-person services, but that's settling down a little bit, and so we have some time. It's time to get back to Messy Church, and we're continuing our look at the signs of Jesus' divinity, proof that he is God, as taken from the Gospel of St. John. And today we're looking at the miracle of Jesus walking on water. And you can find this story in John's Gospel in chapter 6 at the 16th verse. When evening came, his disciples went down to the lake, where they got into a boat and set off across the lake for Capernaum. Now it was dark, and Jesus had not yet joined them. A strong wind was blowing, and the waters grew rough. When they had rowed 3 or 3.5 miles, they saw Jesus approaching the boat, and they were terrified. But Jesus said to them, "It is I, don't be afraid." Then they were willing to take him into the boat, and immediately the boat reached the shore where they were heading. An interesting little story. Raises lots of questions. Like, why did the disciples get into the boat and start across the lake without their leader? Why did they leave Jesus behind? Why were they terrified? Well, sometimes life is like that. We tend to leave Jesus behind. We tend to forget our faith and our trust in him. And particularly when things get difficult or rough in our lives. You're having a bad day, there's troubles at school or troubles at home, you're frustrated, you're angry, you're sad, you're feeling a host of different things, and you just wonder, am I ever going to feel okay? Is it going to be all right? Am I going to get through this? Am I going to get to the other side of the lake? It's interesting that today, I'm taping this on September 29th, the feast of St. Michael and All Angels, but for me this is a special day. It's an anniversary. This is the day, now, well over 30 years ago, my mother died. And that was a real shock when I was a 19-year-old young man at university. And the first year after her death was really hard and difficult. And I wondered if I'd ever get through it. Would I be okay? And eventually I did get through it. And in fact, one of the things that her death and her funeral certainly had an impact on how I approach my own ministry. In fact, her death sort of solidified my call, my vocation to the priesthood. So you do get through things, but it's a lot easier if you have faith, if you have trust in Jesus to get you through. So don't leave him behind. Keep him with you at all times. And I got a couple of ways to sort of demonstrate that to you. And through the magic of technology, basically me pushing the computer back a little bit, it'll be easier to see. I take the door out of the shot. Okay. Do this. You see, I've got 2 jugs of water, just ordinary jugs of water. Let's lower this down a little bit. I'm going to disappear, but you're still going to be able to hear my voice. You're still going to be able to see my chins. And I have 2 oranges. One is just, there's your orange. And I've peeled this one. And I want to say, peeling a fall orange is not easy. It's a tough skin. So I'm going to put an orange in each container. Which one, what do you think is going to happen? Will they both sink? Will they both float? Well, we're going to find out very shortly. You think this one is going to float because it's a little lighter because it doesn't have the heavy skin that this one has on. So let's see what happens. always get a little nervous doing water things around the computer. And I should be nervous. That's really close. Well, that one floats. Uh-oh. Is he going to float? He's going to sink? He's going to what? Make up your mind. Oh dear. This one sank right to the bottom. The one that was peeled, you can see, went right to the bottom. The one that wasn't peeled stays afloat. It's almost like this one is wearing a life jacket, an orange life jacket, or maybe we might call it a faith jacket. If you have faith, you can sort of at least tread water, hold your own until you're rescued, until you get to the other side of your problems. So we're going to put those over here. We're going to do that very neatly because they're my breakfast tomorrow. This one out. And over here. Oh, there's a table not far. Don't worry, not dead air. I'll be right back. Here's another way you can sort of see the same thing when I dry my hand on my pants. There's just a couple of glasses of water. And I'm going to take an egg. It's 2 eggs. 2 ordinary eggs. I'm going to handle very gently because they're not cooked. And I'm going to write on this egg, faith. And I'm going to write on this egg, doubt. Doubt is a word that means that your faith isn't as strong as it could be. There's doubt. Okay, so let's put faith. And again, should have measured these out. I'm going to get water all over the place. Oops. Better let me do this before we have a horrible, horrible accident. I forgot all about Archimedes. Oh dear. Yep. Let's put some water. Okay, where we are. Well, close enough. So, put doubt here. Oops. And he sinks right to the bottom. Put faith in this one. Oh, he sort of sinks too. He should have floated. Because there's a little trick to this. The trick is this. This is salt water. Salt water, things are more buoyant. This one isn't. That didn't work so well. Stick with the image of the oranges. You'll be fine. Ah, my goodness. That's a mess. But you get the point. Because you're bright kids. And you know that when you believe, when you have faith in Jesus, you're going to do okay. So, games. Now, when I do this sort of water talk, I used to do this a fair bit at camp. One of the things I would do is it was the most fun session because it was one of the few sessions I would go down to the beach. And I could do it down at the beach. And what I would do is I would take a couple of sets of flutter boards You know, the kind that you use to help you learn how to swim, like a little blue shield. And I would take flip-flops and a whole lot of duct tape and wrap those flip-flops onto the board. And then I get the kids on the dock and they put on these sort of like water shoes, water snowshoes. And I'd say, okay, let's see you walk on water. And invariably they would all step off the dock on a hot summer's day and were not overly disappointed when they sank into the water. In all the years I did this, I only saw one child manage to take 3 steps. I thought it was a miracle. Then I realized he was the smallest kid in camp, and that's how he got away with it. So what I'm suggesting is, and again, we'll lower this down for you to see. You can take a pan, or you can do this in a sink if there's just a couple of you. Put some water in. Okay. How environmentally friendly is this? I'm reusing the water. And then what you can do is I've put in your kits little ping pong balls. Again, get a permanent marker, you or mom or dad, and sort of make your mark. And just put a little cross on mine and put it in. And then somebody else can put theirs in. And I didn't bring them upstairs, but I have straws, and you can have a race. Blow through your straw. Only do this in your safe family, your pod, your bubble, because you're blowing, and just and have races with your particular ping pong balls. Or just use one ball, and you can have your own kind of little soccer game. Take a moment, and hopefully my wife won't get too annoyed. I'm marking her good cake pan. And make goals and just have your own little soccer game. Kind of fun. You may want to do this outside if it's a nice day. We still have a few good days coming up weather-wise. And I think I'll carefully put this over here, away from my phone. And it would appear that I've left a bit of a mark on the table. That's what tables are for, getting marks on. So I did up 2 crafts for this session on Jesus walking on water. One is I took some cardstock and I've printed these pictures. So you color in your picture. Now, remember where this little line is right here, because what you want to do, once you cut out this figure of Jesus and the boat, you want to cut a little slit, just a little cut in that section. So it sort of looks something like this. But on the back of the Jesus figure, I have glued a stick. And so it just goes like this. You put the stick through the slit, and then there you have it. You can see Jesus walking on water, getting to the boat. Ooh, almost tripped there. Okay? You may want to have mom or dad help cut that slit in there so you don't cut your fingers. The other craft, and there's 2 crafts with this session, because that one was really kind of quick and an easy one. I thought I'd do another one up, is you're going to make your own boat. And I'm going to show you kind of how to do this. It's a little more complicated. It will take a little bit of time. So who knows, maybe you want to do that craft first, and then maybe the next day or later in the evening, work on this one. Just put him over here out of the way. Oops, won't be the way I want to do this though. And we're just going to come down here. So what I did is I provided you with all the things you need. Just took a sponge to give it a little more buoyancy. Buoyancy is a fancy word, basically meaning it'll float better. And then I put about five sticks. Usually covers it pretty nicely. You might get 6 on it. Then what I did is I glued sticks here, but I glued it in a way that it was just towards the edges, the ends. And then I glued one here. And then another one here. Try to keep a nice square. You're going to see why in a minute. And then one there, if you wanted to. And I think I've given you enough sticks. You might be able to do at least one more. Once that dries, what I did is I flipped it over, and you see I stuck the sponge right inside. So it's in there, it's not coming out. Didn't glue it, it just fit nice and neat. Then I cut a straw in half, put a little pointy part here, and I took just a scrap piece of paper will do, and made the sail. Gave it a little bit of decoration. You decorate your sail any way you like. Where I struggled was how to get it to stay on the boat. And what I found is if I cut a Dixie cup, the bottom part of a Dixie cup off, sort of see it, oops, get up at the camera, there it is there. And then what I did is I took a sharp pencil and right in the middle, carefully, so I didn't stick myself, made a little hole. And then that's where the straw went through. I put it on top of the boat and just glued around it. So it's there, see, I can pick it up now. It's not going anywhere. I wonder if I can do this. Oh, didn't get rid of that mark. Oh dear. So there you go. That's how you can make your boat. And I've put everything in the kit for you. Little half Dixie cups, sticks, sponges, straws, everything you need to make your own boat. If your pool is still open, you can enjoy it there. If not, in the bathtub. Okay? Though I would not try walking on water in the bathtub. You will slip, you will fall, you will hurt yourself. Don't do that. Okay? So that's our messy church on walking on water. It's a story of faith that when the disciples made a mistake, they should have taken Jesus with them, but they didn't, and they got into trouble. They were having a rough go getting to the other side of the lake. They were having difficulties. But as soon as Jesus was there with them, things went a whole lot smoother. So in this case, don't be like a disciple. In this case, keep Jesus close at hand. Remember to keep him close to your heart. Pray to him every day. He's going to be there for you. And you won't be able to avoid difficult things, hard days. Nobody can, but you sure get through them a lot easier and a lot quicker when you have Jesus. Okay, so God bless, take care, and we'll have a little prayer. Heavenly Father, we ask that you help us to keep your Son close to our hearts and on our minds each and every day. Help us to turn to him, to cry out to him when we get into difficulties, and to trust that he will help us and that he will save us. Amen. So there you go. I hope to see you soon, perhaps in person. We'll see how it goes, but at this point, let's be honest, it's going to be a little while yet. But I hope you're taking it easy and safe at school, and you're all doing very well and helping mom and dad out at home during these very challenging times. So take care and God bless. We'll see you real soon.